too long. How about that? She just had knee surgery. Oh, goodness. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's no joke.
Both knees.
Oh, goodness. Wow. And she's teaching kindergarten?
Yeah, she say what? She is a warrior. She is a warrior.
I guess so. Oh my goodness. It's that uncomfortable time when everybody's just kind of like, oh, they're going to get started.
We've been to be movie stars. We just.
I know. Well, it's about time we had a movie star in Williston.
Right.
Yeah. We're grateful to all our friends in the media who made the long drive down from Columbia. Thank you all for being here today, or wherever in the state you came from. We like to make you work for your news a little bit.
We got them across the track from Georgia.
That's awesome. That's wonderful.
What can you tell me about the jerseys you're wearing?
Yeah, I was going to say.
School colors.
Love it.
Okay.
Alumni, no.
And so we have the class of 70 sitting over here, and you are 69. Excellent. 66. All right. That's awesome. Do you all have annual reunions that you do still?
Yes.
When do you normally do those?
It used to be, we start the Heritage Parade that we have every year here too.
Awesome.
That's where the mirrors and everything come from, the proceeds go to the kids here at Kelly up the alumni started.
I love that. So the proceeds of the parade are what funds the beautiful murals.
Right.
That's so cool. These are incredible. All right, I think we're ready to start. All right. Well, good morning, everyone. It is so good to be here in Williston, South Carolina, good old Barnwell County. And we are here today to elevate and celebrate the success of our students and to talk about the power of what is possible. The state of South Carolina every year releases ratings for every single school called a state report card. And so you can actually find those ratings and rankings at screportcards.com. And I'd like to briefly say that we have actually made that site a little bit more user-friendly this year. So parents and concerned community members, caring community members can now go in and type in the name of any school on the front page there and go directly to the report card for that school. And so we're doing everything we can to make data accessible. And when I was looking over the report card ratings for this previous school year, I have to tell you, Kelly Edwards just popped out like a shining star, And so the opportunity for us to unveil this year's report card ratings at this historic school has been here since 1954. We have alum of this school who have joined us here today. You can tell there's just such a strong sense of community pride in what this place represents. And so to be able to be here and to celebrate the success that this school has seen, I want to share with our guests from the news media and communities all around South Carolina that in 2018, this school was rated a 28, which put it in the lowest possible category, unsatisfactory. But that's not where the story ends. This is a story of continued growth, hard work, and progress, really of hope. Hope is what education represents. And so in 2019, they continued the journey. They pushed their score up to 39 below average. We didn't have ratings during 2020 and 21 because of the COVID pandemic. But that doesn't mean that they weren't working hard here at Kelly Elementary School. When we restored ratings in 2022, Kelly Edwards Elementary School was at 63, which is an excellent on our report card. But the story doesn't even stop there. So there's more. There's more. This year, I am excited to announce that Kelly Edwards is now at a 71. So I am here today to congratulate all these incredible students and teachers who are standing behind us, our wonderful principal, the staff, the community. This school shows that with hard work and hope, anything is possible. Our children can achieve. And what I love about coming to schools like Kelly Edwards, and there are schools like this all over the state of South Carolina, is that there seems to be a secret sauce that each of these schools have. And unlike Colonel Sanders, I'm going to share the recipe. Okay? So the secret sauce for success is a great principal. Because a great principal builds the culture that those teachers are teaching in. They make sure that they are clearing obstacles out of the way of their teacher so that those teachers can do what they are here to do, and that is teach. The second thing that each of these schools have is high quality instructional materials. So in the realm of reading, which is the most foundational skill that our students have to have if they're going to be successful in school and life, it's curriculum that is aligned to the brain science of reading. The way that we know now, thanks to modern technology, the brain works. The third thing that you have to have is high quality professional development for teachers. They have to have the tools in their toolbox to understand the challenges that their children are facing and then address those challenges in real time in the classroom. And in talking with our wonderful principal ahead of these comments, she said that they have one language, one common language here at the school. The parents speak it, the teachers speak it, the students speak it, the staff speak it. And it's all built around how are we addressing the needs, the learning needs of our students, and how are we pushing ourselves to be better. So this is an incredible celebration here. Just a quick look at where we are statewide. I'm happy to report that 22% of schools in South Carolina now receive an overall rating of excellence, that half of the students in South Carolina public schools are enrolled in a school with a rating of excellent or good, and that is a 2.5% increase of schools that are rated excellent or good. We have seen a 7.8% increase in schools that are rated average. And the best news is that we have seen an 8.5% decrease in schools that are rated below average or unsatisfactory. So, as a great philosopher once said, we have a long way to go and a short time to get there. We can't sugarcoat the truth. Just over 50% of our students statewide are on grade level in reading, and just over 40% of our students statewide are on grade level in math. We have a lot of work to do, but I know that we are pursuing strategies both at Columbia and here at the local level that are going to address those gaps and those challenges. And I want to stress that in the release of these report cards, we view in South Carolina data as a tool and not as a weapon. All of us have cell phones, and we all know how to use that GPS. And we have to have the little dot on the map that tells us accurately where we are if we are going to plan our journey to get to where we need to go. And so that's what we're here to talk about when we talk about school report cards. We are here to talk about the progress that is possible, that Kelly Edwards is showing the way. They are the trailblazers here. And so again, I just want to say to the community members who have taken time to join us today, to the teachers, staff, and leadership of this school, and just as importantly, to the wonderful students who are standing behind me today, we are so proud of you. Let's give them another round of applause. with that, I'd like to call the chair lady of the Education Oversight Committee, April Allen, to the platform.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. I forgot we do that in school, don't we? It's been a long time since I've been to school, clearly calling me the chair lady. So I am April Allen. I am the chair of the Education Oversight Committee. And I'm also the Director of Government Relations at Continental Tire. And one day, I hope that all of you, because you're so smart and so energetic and so driven, will come to work at Continental, or at least think about it. But I am the Speaker of the House's appointee to the Education Oversight Committee, and but today I am pleased to be here to celebrate these guys and their fabulous teachers, and for all their success and that huge story that Ellen told, that pathway, that it's there's always hope, and you just keep working at it and you keep digging at it. And she also talked about, Superintendent Weaver also talked about the common language, and I found it ironic that the principal here, we were just talking about their common language before we got started, and she used a language that we use in our plants, which I also found very ironic. And it's just how we're all always trying to be better and striving for more. So today we celebrate the students, the teachers, the principals, the administrators, the families in this community. Should all be applauded for the considerable achievements that have been made here. These improvements have been made because of a lot of hard work, persistence, and dedication to the education of each and every one of these children. You all now have the 2023, 22-23, that's hard to say, report cards results. These report cards are designed to send a clear, consistent message to schools, families, and others about how schools are doing on academics, how children in a school are performing academically, how they're performing on standardized testing, how they're performing with regard to college and career readiness. The report cards also provide an indicator of school climate with questions like, do teachers and students feel safe at school? Are the relationships between families and the school community positive? A positive school climate, like the one clearly here, is critical for the success of students and for teachers and students to thrive. The mission of Kelly Edwards Elementary is to empower and educate scholars to become critical thinkers in a safe and nurturing environment while collaborating with community partners to become positive leaders in society. That's a lot, right? And we all want to be that. It appears from the results of the 2023 report card that the scholars, these guys, and all your classmates back in the classroom, right? Of Kelly Edwards and the community who support them have done just that. Our partners at the State Department of Education recently released results of the assessments that students take in South Carolina public schools. A nearly 6% percentage point increase, in statewide English language arts scores on the SC Ready accounted for an overall increase in elementary and middle schools receiving an overall rating of excellent or good on this year's report card release. This school and others around the state have embraced a focus on the science of reading, meaning that teachers and leaders have committed to learning research-driven methods that improve the instruction of reading. And their report cards show just that. Over half of the students at Kelly Edwards met or exceeded expectations in English language arts on SC Ready. At the EOC, we are especially pleased to see the added value growth measure that is published. It's not used this year on the report cards for the first time. This measure provides 2 individual growth targets for each student. One, a median annual target that measures where a student should be in a 1 year's time period based on similar prior year goals, and the other, an added value target, which is designed to provide information about gains that need to be made to move a student to ultimate proficiency. Here at Kelly Edwards, 74% of the students met their median annual target for the 2020 for last year, and 59% of the students met that higher added value target. which takes lots of hard work. Was it a little bit of fun too? Was it a little bit of fun? They were like pretty fun teachers. No fun? Oh, sorry. Lots of fun. I bet it was a little bit of fun. Just for reference, the statewide average is 40% of students meeting that higher goal. So you all are doing great. The inclusion of the added value growth model in the accountability system, along with the 2 high school student success measures, have exciting implications for schools as they support actionable instructional interventions earlier with students. While we celebrate the improvements students and schools are making in English language arts, we can't claim complete victory yet. We got a long way to go, right? We can't ignore that math and science scores are not where they need to be. Statewide, as Superintendent Weaver said, only 40% of 3rd through 8th graders are scoring meets or exceeds expectations on SC Ready math tests, which measures grade level standards in mathematics. Only 45% of students are scoring a C or better on Algebra 1 end of course assessments, a test that is typically given to all high school students who take this gateway course. The data looks even more alarming, unfortunately, when we separate out groups like pupils in poverty and students of color. Additionally, statewide performance in science has declined, dropping from 46% of students meeting or exceeding state standards in 2021-22 to 44% in 22-23. Students are tested in science only in the 4th and 6th grade. The same declines in math and science can be seen in the results of the end of course assessments given in South Carolina high schools. Now, there were increases in students passing the English 2 end of course assessment, and we should celebrate that and build on that, just like we need to build on the success here. However, over half of the students scored a D or an F on the Algebra 1, Biology 1, and U.S. History and Constitution end of course exams. We're doing a better job in South Carolina of graduating students into the current system. The current on-time graduation rate is 84%. However, we have to ask ourselves, are we preparing students for college and careers? Currently, only 29% of students in last year's graduating class, the kids who graduated in May, were college and career ready. There's a little bit of a disconnect there. You see that? The goal of the system is to have students prepared for what follows graduation, whether that be work, the military, coming to work at Continental, a 2-year community college, or a 4-year college. We want our students all to be ready for what choice they make, right? That's a big goal. It takes a lot of hard work, and it begins in elementary school. The students at Kelly Edwards probably don't think much about colleges or careers yet today, but I can assure you, the folks over there on that side of the room, they think a lot about what you're going to grow up to be, right? They know it takes hard work. The performance of schools like Kelly Edwards Elementary is evidence that high academic standards, quality teaching, and parental and community support, and a relentless focus on helping students get what they need to get where they want to be each and every day is critical, and critical to that success. This work takes each of us committing to believing in the potential of all children who walk into South Carolina classrooms. They are all likely success stories, just like the children here in this school. And it is up to all of us to help get them there. It's not just up to educators, it is up to the business community, to parents and families, all of us. Ultimately, we have a responsibility to these young people. So thanks for being here today. Thank you to the Kelly Edwards Elementary staff and to the students for hosting us and welcoming us here today. Lots to celebrate. Lots to celebrate. Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
It is such an honor to be here today. As chair of the State Board of Education, it is so inspiring to see the growth that we're witnessing statewide. We know we have a journey that we are still on to get to where we want to be, but I have no doubt with Superintendent Weaver and the leadership and support of both her and her entire team that we will get there. It is very exciting, though, today that we're in Barnwell County, a place I call home. And so it is so great to be here. I know I speak on behalf of all of the leaders across our county when I say we are so happy to have everyone here visiting with us today. I do want to take a moment to recognize some of our school board members who are in the room. For the Barnwell County Consolidated School District, I know you are so proud of Kelly Edwards, but I know you are proud of all of your schools as well. And I'm so glad that you are here to be with us today. I do want to recognize Chair Ethel Faust, and I will say everyone's name, even if they couldn't be with us. Vice Chair Leanna Orr, Secretary Tim Scott, and members Teresa Hughes, Katrina Hughes Parker, and Ken Beatty. So thank you for all you do, for your dedication and commitment to all of the schools. Let's give them a round of applause. I also, for those of you who don't know, we are in a unique situation in Barnwell County this year as we enter in the second consolidation of our school districts to now become one countywide school district. And so we also have another school board called the Barnwell County School District Board of Trustees. And we have with us today Mr. Ronnie Brown, who I want to mention was chair of the Barnwell County Consolidated School District Board of Trustees prior to moving to the transition board. It's a mouthful. So we're so glad you could be here with us today. And Mr. Abraham Sexton, also one of our members of the new school board as well. So we thank you for being here. I also know we have some past school board members with us. So as you walked in, I was trying to make sure, but Ms. Felicia Cuthbertson, thank you for all you have done to dedicate yourself to the leadership within our schools and our county. And also Ms. Annette Barnett, thank you for being here today also. Before I move on, I also have to make sure, Superintendent David Corder, thank you so much for the leadership you provide and the support you provide all of the schools. You have dedicated your life to schools in Barnwell County. Yes. I tell you, he is a legend. There was many times if we didn't know an answer, we'd say, well, call David. He's in Blackville and he can tell us. So he could answer so many questions. I am just honored to work alongside you. Thank you. You know, what was mentioned before about the science of reading and letters training, I do want to mention now, we are so fortunate that Superintendent Weaver has had such a priority in this area. I am happy to say after the newest cohort goes through the training, then all of the elementary schools in Barnwell County will be trained in those best practices and in the research to truly understand what those best practices are and how to put them into practice. So we appreciate your diligence and we appreciate you helping us make that happen in our county and across our state. Thank you. You know, in education, we're often asked, what is our why? Why do we do what we do every day? Why do our school board members take the time they take to invest in our schools? And you know, our why is right behind me. If you ever need, if you ever need to know our why in education, you look into the eyes of a child. You look into the eyes of one of the children here or anywhere across our state, and you know why teachers spend endless energy trying to make sure they provide for what our students need. And you know why administrators work hour after hour trying to maximize the resources they have. And it is all because of the children that we serve. And we are so proud of all of you. And we thank you for being our inspiration every day. Thank you. And to our teachers, I know what you do is never easy. But it is so appreciated. They are such the hearts of our school systems. And we just can't thank you enough for what you do every day and the passion and energy you put into what you do. You truly are life changers, and we thank you for that. You know, it is fitting that we have this press conference during National Principals Month. Principals wear so many hats. They are budget makers, they're disciplinarians, they are counselors, they're mentors, they're managers. so many different things. But one of the most important things we need our principals to be is an instructional leader. That is so crucial, especially today, especially as we face the challenges we're trying to do to grow from any academic lag we may have had during the pandemic. And we are so fortunate that the principal of Kelly Edwards is just that, a true instructional leader that's taking her expertise in data-driven planning and data-driven instruction and has been able to really help Kelly Edwards have such remarkable growth and achievement over these last few years. So it is my honor to be able to introduce Kelly Edwards principal, Miss Monique Smalls, and I ask you if you would please help me welcome her to the podium.
Gotta get the nerves out. Good morning. So I wrote my notes so I don't make sure I don't make any mistakes and leave people out. So as you know, I'm Monique Smalls, and I am the proud principal of Kelly Edwards School, Elementary School. And I'm truly honored to stand before each of you to represent a very special school in an extraordinary community. The success we are celebrating today is the result of a tremendous team effort. When I accepted the position of principal of Kelly Edwards Elementary School, I was looking for a challenge to make a difference in the lives of teachers and students here in Williston. To my surprise, I found much, much more. I found a team committed to serving the children of Williston with excellence. I was immediately welcomed into this school and wider community as well, and it was filled with so much love. I embraced this feeling and chose to lead with love, focusing and celebrating our growth in spite of our achievement gaps. Growth over gaps became our mantra. It was noted in every meeting, hung for all to see in our hallway. And focusing on our growth over gaps, we were able to guide and support teachers into a better understanding of curriculum, best practice, and data analysis. We were able to target student interventions, incentivize student growth and achievement, and get students excited about learning and their personal gains. In my tenure, we've made school, school. That's what we say. We made school, school. We made safely and intentionally doing this what was best for students, for children. Was it easy? Absolutely not. But it was worth it. Kelly Edwards is again rated excellent, as recognized by our state report card, and I celebrate our team for this feat. I'd like to spend a little time this morning describing our team, if that's okay. First of all, we are all here today because of the support of our parents, our guardians, our extended family members, and the Williston-Elko community at large. It's no secret to the people who live here, but for me as a relative newcomer, I have been and continue to be impressed by the pride and care that the people of this town take in their schools and in these students. Our families are engaged, and our community partners never fail to fill in gaps where the needs of our students are concerned. Whether it's Save the Children grandparent, a Kelly Edwards alum, a faithful neighbor, or a local church, a huge part of our success is owed to the fact that everyone inside of this building is rooted on by many people outside of these four walls. We also give credit to our district leadership, past and present, beginning with our school board members who go above and beyond to set policies that support the whole child, growing and focusing on so much more than just test scores. Likewise, we have been fortunate to serve under leadership of Superintendent Dr. Marcella Shaw and Mr. David Porter. And they both attest to their commitment to the kinds of decision-making that points all towards student achievement. These leaders make it easier for all of us to do the day-to-day work of ensuring that students' needs are met inside and outside of the classroom. Next on the list, my incredible Kelly Edwards faculty and staff. You will never meet a more dedicated, loving, hardworking, selfless, and inspiring group of people. I really do love my team. Nothing, I mean nothing, is easy in the world of education, y'all. But I dare say that even on our easiest days, it's still not for the faint of heart. But I dare you to find a building anywhere in the state that loves these students more than we do. Our teachers show up every day with their game faces on because they know we don't have a moment to waste. They have spent countless hours in collaborative meetings, analyzing data, and attending training, all to improve their effectiveness. And it's paid off. I wish that every single one of them could stand up here with us now, because we are excellent, because they are excellent. And last but certainly not least, the reason we are gathered here today is because our scholars did it. They did it. They showed themselves that nothing is beyond their reach. They have learned that hard work and perseverance pays off. And most importantly, they showed the entire state of South Carolina that their big dreams can be achieved in even the smallest of places. I stand before you not saying that I've done anything miraculous, but be blessed to be a principal here at Kelly Edwards.
Wow. If there's a dry eye after that. All right, well, let's go ahead and open it up if our friends in the media have any questions. And I would, of course, invite the wonderful ladies who spoke with me to join me up here to, answer any questions on the hot seat. So do we have any questions? Yes, sir.
Yes, you mentioned the graduation rate, but the difference as far as the percentage of career readiness or college readiness. How do we get those high school students ready for that next step?
I think that's a great question, and that's something that, April, if you'd like to come up here and talk about, I know you're particularly passionate about it, but I think that ensuring that a high school diploma means college and career readiness is the goal that we have to set here in South Carolina. And we have many wonderful opportunities that we are pursuing now to ensure that our students are being instructed in the careers of the future, AI, computer science, and that there are clear pathways for how they get to from the classroom to their future careers. So connecting learning with that real world relevance. And I know, April, that's something that you've been particularly passionate about. Is there anything you'd like to add to that?
Sure. I think there's, I think it's about, it's about being ready and having choices, right? And so for students to take advantage of all the opportunities there are for dual credit and for all the STEM education and all the different things that might be of interest to them. It may or may not be where they ultimately end up going, but go ahead and scratch that itch and learn about it and take advantage of what schools have to offer. Just yesterday, the Education Oversight Committee passed out some new standards for dual enrollment and recognizing the importance of that so that we better prepare our students, right? So it is a ongoing process. There's never going to be a one and done because what happens after graduation continues to change. So we have to keep working on it and keep working on it.
And I think one of the things that I'm particularly excited about that we are working on right now in partnership with our technical colleges is the idea of mobile career and technology labs. We know that not every community in the state has the ability to invest in a state-of-the-art CTE center, and so why can't we bring state-of-the-art CTE materials to them? Every student in every district in every school deserves the connection to the opportunities, the workforce opportunities of the future. And so that's one tangible way that we can support them. I think the last thing I'll say on that is just internships and apprenticeships. We have a strong apprenticeship program here that is continually growing in South Carolina, and I think continuing to look at how we can build that out. I know an internship was integral in my own career. Sometimes you have to be willing to work for free and get the coffee to get the experience that you need to be successful in the workplace. And so continuing to encourage students to harness those opportunities when they're presented to them, I think, is how we help close that gap. Other questions? Yes, ma'am.
As mentioned, the science of reading really one of your big priorities. So what is being done this year to start implementing that strategy, and what can we expect in the years to come for that?
Thank you for asking that. That really is the foundational priority if we are going to lay the foundation for long-term success that we know is possible in South Carolina. So in partnership with the General Assembly, we now have the funding to ensure that every K-3 teacher in South Carolina is fully trained in the science of reading. We have a cohort of about 5,000 teachers that are starting that letters journey. This fall, we'll have another cohort in January that will start, and I believe we'll have one more cohort following that in the fall of 2024. And so as we continue to invest in the professional development of our teachers, we also are in the curriculum adoption process for high quality instructional materials that are aligned to the science of reading. So we really have a window of opportunity here in South Carolina in this foundational field of literacy that I don't think we've ever had. And so I'm so excited, again, investing in our principal leadership, in the high quality instructional materials, and in the professional development that our teachers need to use those materials well and with fidelity. I think the sky's the limit. I think we're going to continue to see incredible growth in reading. We've only scratched the surface. Other questions? Yes, sir.
Unlike here, the schools that are below average, how do we create equity for those schools across the state? And how much of that involves consolidating school districts?
Well, we've seen a lot of consolidation happening in our rural communities, as our superintendent referenced here, is something that the Barnwell community is currently experiencing. I think there's a lot that we can do to deliver shared services to districts, whether or not they fully consolidate or not. But I truly think that whatever the community, whatever the challenges the school faces, it really comes back to having a great principal in that school who is using those high quality instructional materials and empowering their teachers with the tools that they need to teach those tools or to teach that curriculum with fidelity and with excellence. And that's the secret sauce for success for our schools across the state. Ultimately, I think the way that we build equal opportunity for every student in South Carolina is ensuring that they have the gift of literacy, full stop.
More specifically, do you have a plan for those schools that do fall below unsatisfactory? We heard plan about reading and science for the schools that are succeeding, but what about those schools who aren't?
Absolutely. And so interestingly enough, this letters journey in the science of reading actually started in our Palmetto Literacy Project schools, which are the schools most in need of intervention on those reading scores. And so that focus will continue across the state, and we're expanding it beyond just literacy. One of my top budget priorities this year in my presentation to the General Assembly will be around how can we create a Palmetto math project to focus on those disparities in math. We know that literacy and math go hand in hand as the foundational skills that students have to have if they're going to be successful in life. And so again, that Palmetto math project, just like the Palmetto literacy project, will be targeted to our schools most in need of the interventions. Other questions? Yes, sir.
Is the state doing any research into why exactly students have fallen behind in things like science and math?
It's a great question. I know that these are trends that we're seeing across the country, and I know that we are reading research and talking with our peers in other states every day to learn from the strategies that they're pursuing to close those gaps. One of the things that I'm very excited that we are working to stand up at the Department of Education is high-dose tutoring. The research is showing us that if you want to close those gaps in math, that you need one-on-one or small group instruction in addition to the classroom instruction time that takes place. So 30 minutes of high-dose tutoring in a week can help catch students up, and that's something that, again, the General Assembly has provided us funds to implement, and we're in the process of gathering best practices from other states to figure out how we can do that well here in South Carolina.
Got time for two more.
For principal smalls, I know you mentioned the different strategies you all had to use, like targeting growth and things like that. I know for your folks in the education sphere, you all know what this means, but for the folks at home, what does this look like in practice in the
Okay.
classroom?
So our students take a diagnostic that basically tells us where they score for the year. In that diagnostic, we are able to determine the deficits, what areas of weakness that they have, and we're able to target those deficits. Our teachers are able to say for instance, a student is struggling in the realm of inferencing. That diagnostic will tell us specifically, and we're able to do that during our intervention block. I was telling Ms. Weaver earlier, we do tier 1 instruction during our normal block. That's grade level instruction for those who aren't teachers. And then we have created an hour-long intervention block. It's where we address those deficits. So that diagnostic produces what our students are struggling in. We then turn around and we help our students with that during intervention.
And Principal Williams, could you explain the red, yellow, green that you were telling me about?
So red, obviously, we color code our students. Our students know the colors as well. And we have talked about this with parents. We color code them red, yellow, green. Red indicates that they didn't meet and that there's some areas that we definitely need to work on. Yellow is our approaches students who are almost there, but they need a little extra push. And then our green are meet, so they're right on target, meeting the standard, and we do that in our summative assessments, we do that in our diagnostic, we do that in our formative. We create what we call student mastery criteria, so we know what it looks like for a student to actually achieve and meet a standard prior to moving on to the next skill.
And what I love about what Principal Smalls is talking about here is that there's a lot of jargon in education, and what we have to do is speak with clarity so that we can have alignment. And so that red, yellow, green system that she's talked about is taking it down to a level that even our youngest students can understand. And that's how we build partnerships with parents, with the community. It's not throwing acronyms and buzzwords at them. It's talking to them like the real stakeholders that they are in language that everyone can understand, embrace, and then act upon. And I think that's really a huge part of your success here at Kelly Edwards. Last question.
One challenge that we've kind of seen statewide is kind of related to the teacher shortage. Are there any initiatives, measures that you all would be looking to support, or kind of in general something to do to kind of help teach kids because they don't have a teacher in the classroom? It's a little tough.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. We will certainly continue to be advocating for raising teacher pay across this state. We have seen tremendous progress in getting South Carolina to the southeastern average over the last few years. We're going to continue to push that forward. I think we also need to look at innovations that we're seeing work across South Carolina and across the country in terms of strategic compensation on top of teachers' base pay. So whether you have a senior teacher who is serving as a mentor to those new teachers, we lose most of our teachers in the first 5 years. And so we have to find a way to bridge that gap. And, I never once have heard a teacher tell me, gosh, it was that third-year pedagogy class that made me a great teacher. They always talk about another teacher who mentored them, a great principal who coached them. And so I think we need to be rewarding our experienced teachers for the experience that they bring to the classroom. I think we need to be looking at ways to incentivize educators into areas of high need, whether that be communities of need or whether that be special populations. We know that we need special education teachers like there's no tomorrow. We need teachers in math. We need elementary school teachers. So we know that there are specific types of teachers that we're looking for. And so I think continuing to look at ways that we can grow alternative pathways to certification, people who might be looking for a second career, ways that we can incentivize teachers who are maybe on the sidelines right now and don't want to come back to school full-time but might be willing to give us some part-time benefit of their experience. I think there's a lot of things that we need to be looking at, but it's going to require an all-of-the-above strategy for sure because we're in desperate need of teachers.
Thanks, everyone.
There's a reception in the media center for all who would like to partake.
Like
there's a lot of food. Y'all eat.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.